Welcome into episode number 100 of About the Cards podcast, live tonight on YouTube with always with me with my host, Stefan Lafayette, Junk Wax Twins, Ben Wilson. At our trading cards, I'm Tim Shuffler at Big Shep 79. We are podcast by collectors. For collectors, hoping to bring you a smart and insightful podcast discussing trading card collecting. We're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific.
10 Central.
A YouTube, Periscope, Facebook, live everywhere. Follow us on Twitter about the cards. Available podcast everywhere. And check out the website aboutthecards.wordpress.com. What is up, fellas? 100. We figured we'd make it 4 or 5 episodes and did a few more than that.
Indeed.
It's pretty awesome.
So we're canceled after that. We're breaking up. You both are pretty, and I need my money.
Yeah, we're going pro. So
seeking replacements for Tim next week.
Yeah.
Send in your audition tapes.
But we appreciate everybody hopping in and hanging out with us tonight. We have a lot to get to tonight. I know it's been a little slow in the hobby, but we have a lot of topics to get through. And at the end of the show, we're going to give you some thank yous and some shout outs to some folks who have been very supportive over the past almost 2 full years we've been on. Episode 104 will be our second year as we do 52 episodes a year. And we'll get to start season 3. I can't believe that's going to be so crazy. The third season, and we're getting renewed. It's awesome. So the week that was last week's releases, Topps Living, week 115, we had card 313, Shane Bieber, pitcher of the Cleveland Indians, sold just over 2,000 cards. And card 314, Jordan Yamamoto, rookie pitcher of the Marlins, sold 7 over 2,000. Not a bad week. Still lower end of the cards, the release numbers, but still hitting 2,000 consistently, which is not bad. So,
and they look like this.
Yes. And last week, if you don't remember. There we go.
Shane, not Justin.
Yeah, no, they were solid cards. Yamamoto's nice. I know we talked about this since we're at episode 100. Early on when Christian Yelich and a couple of the other players came out that had sunglasses. I know they took a lot of slack in. A lot of opinions had kind of come out. I think that Yamamoto's great. I like the sunglasses look, especially with the reflections. I can understand they're not for everybody, but I think they're fun.
Yeah, not a bad week. So make sure you check out Topps Living Stat for a full breakdown of where these cards fall respectively in the set and by team and position. 2019-20 Panini Mosaic dropped. It's taken the world by storm, just along with 2020 Bowman, which has been nuts. And by the way, I was able to, with a few blasters, our buddy Prism Hoops hooked me up with, and then my buddy Nick, who's this local Sacramento collector, got 6 blasters last week, and I built the veteran base set and most of the prospect base set, and used sports lots to fill in the rest, and working on the chromes. I did pull a Dominguez paper, and so I need to get lucky somehow and score a chrome, I guess, but. I like the set this year. Looking back over the past Bowman designs the last few years, it's probably one of my favorites they've done.
I got the team set of the A's from Topps Living Stat this past week for the first edition, and they're a solid base set. Compared to some of the last few years, I think a big improvement.
Yeah. Not bad. And we also 2020 Panini Select Baseball drop as well. Hot off the press is this week's new releases, Topps Living 116. Card 315, Andrew Jones, outfielder of the Atlanta Braves. And card 316, Jose Urquidy.
Urquidy, I believe.
Rookie pitcher of the Astros. I actually had to look up and see he appeared in a few games last year with the Astros.
Yeah.
Not sure he even has another card out yet. So
he was solid in their playoff run. He was kind of came out of nowhere towards the end of the year, if I remember correctly, and was definitely a solid addition behind their 3-headed monster of Cole and Verlander and Greinke. I mean, you had to have another arm, somebody, and they had quite a few injuries in the back half of their rotation, and he was definitely solid. It'd be interesting to see what he does moving forward, because obviously Cole's now in New York, and Verlander is a free agent after this year, presumably.
So I'm looking at it curiously enough. He had a few grandstand minor league issues, Some tops now from last year, naturally. And a 2020 tops card number 310.
Nice. All right. So, interesting card to come out. And
Inception.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll, I'm not sure what other rookies we're going to see. I'm going to do some research on that. So take a look there. 2020 Panini Noir basketball dropped today. It's only $1,500 a box. 1 pack per box, 10 cards per pack. You're going to get 7 autograph indoor mem cards in that box. 400 to 400 card base set. All the cards are numbered to 99 or less. Majority of the cards in the product are autographs or memorabilia, featuring on-card autos on all of them. You don't have any stickers, which is pretty awesome.
Some of these are amazing looking, year to year. It's one of my favorite basketball sets, and I don't collect, but these make me want to.
Yeah. They have the returning metal frame cards. You'll find autographs. Guys, it'll be a little static. I'm not sure where that's coming from.
Might be me.
Okay. Returning with the split screen, vintage art, and feature length, which are all kind of movie related. Takes you back to the noir period of LA. So
that Danny Green was a solid looking card. Now as a Spurs fan, it's disgusting because obviously he's with the Lakers this year, but longtime fan, of course. He's one of my favorite all-time players, but that's a good looking card.
I like the dude in the background to the right of it, like just yelling. Right. That's pretty awesome. There's the rookie patch autographs. Those are 99 or less with on card, and they also have prime swatches. So that's actually a card that's got
that's nice.
A prime swatch and an autograph. And there's Leitner, long-haired Leitner. There's the sneaker colors. Yeah, there's the sneaker spotlight, which is up close to players' shoes, and there they have those autographed as well. Oh, look at that old Mike Bibby, nice. There we go. There's Steph and his Starberries. And there's also going to be a first off the line edition of this. So there we go, Mikey. Mike Bibby. Hey, I'm Mike Bibby. Thanks for watching the Sacramento Kings. So
you got to put a little more Kermit in your throat if you're going to be.
That's true. I used to have it down. I used to be able to do the Mike Bibby thing. Hi, Mike Bibby.
Cool. There's a mall here in Sacramento, which is a pretty big hangout. And 20 years ago, I'm sitting in there with my family at a restaurant called Johnny Rockets, and Bibby's sitting at the counter, and he keeps looking over his shoulder, right? Like almost like he's looking for somebody, waiting for somebody. But the more I watched him, the more I realized he's waiting to be recognized. And he's like almost, if you remember Dumb and Dumber when Jim Carrey's standing at the bar and he's like sticking his butt out, waiting, trying to be sexy. It's like Bibby was like sticking his neck out, waiting for somebody to go, "Oh my God, you're Mike Bibby," and unfortunately, nobody did, which is funny because I met him a couple times when I owned my coffee shop, and the guy was just a royal ass.
Speaking of athletes and wanting to be noticed, if you guys haven't seen Uncut Gems, it's on Netflix at the moment.
Yeah.
Great movie,
amazing movie.
Yeah, it's like I saw somebody describe it as. It's a 90-minute heart attack, just like the stress right level. I mean, like the first 45, 50 minutes of that movie is just uber stressful. And then it calms down for about 20 minutes. And it's just like, all right, I can breathe.
You didn't know what the hell was going on or what was going to happen. It's definitely worth a watch. So
it is. And there's, obviously Kevin Garnett plays a big role in it and whatnot, but a great movie if you haven't seen it.
Yeah. You mean New Jersey Nets legend Kevin Garnett, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not quite.
2020 Panini Contenders Draft Picks football drops Friday. $390 a box. 6 packs per box. 18 cards per pack. 6 autographs. 30 inserts and parallels. It's a 320 card base set. Veterans and retired stars will be in their college unis, along with the rookies. You have the RPS college tickets with on-card autographs from the top draft picks. Other signatures include collegiate connection signatures. There was one of Mahomes and Baker Mayfield because they both played at Texas Tech. They should have gotten Davis Webb on that one too. Made it a little trio. There's also school color signatures and game day ticket signatures. Very much similar to regular Contenders draft picks, but this has just got the college touch to it. So, and this has been delayed a handful of times.
Yep, we're talking about football, Ken. You can tune in.
Yeah, and that's it. That's all we had this week. We had a few more that were supposed to pop, but they got pushed back. So,
yeah, the release calendar. Are we planning on talking about the release calendar later, like moving forward?
We can talk about it right now if you want.
No, it's just it's exciting because we had this big lull for the last 8 weeks where nothing really was coming out outside of Project 2020 and Bowman First Edition and all the weekly stuff. So it's exciting that the release calendar is now happening, right? We saw Panini Select, we saw Bowman release this week. A lot of products are getting moved around. I was talking to Suze this week, and I kind of asked for her expert opinion. Is it them trying to balance out that release calendar because Big League Baseball got moved back from June to be determined in July right now? And she was like, it probably isn't really a balance of things as much as you're just trying to figure out the logistics. Some stuff's already ready to go, some stuff's not. I think that this is just going to be a really weird year for. I mean, I'm sure that goes without saying, but
yeah, we talked about the printing process, and every release has a slot, and it's so many days long, and it's been shortened because they can't have enough people in there to do a full run of what they normally do. So everything's kind of getting moved around. We saw that. We'll hop into what's brewing next week's releases. So 1920 Upper Deck SP Authentic Hockey drops. That was supposed to be out this week. It got pushed back, along with 2020 Tier 1. Baseball was supposed to come out this week. It's been pushed back to next. Panini Score Football was a couple weeks ago, and it got pushed back to next week. And then 1920 Panini Court Kings Basketball as well. So we'll see. I kind of, through my distributors, I get updates on release dates and stuff, and everything's pretty fluid up until the day or two before. And so we'll try to keep you on top of that as much as we can, but things do change. And, hey, as long as we see a product or two a week, I'm happy. I think it's just going to be kind of towards the end of the year, we're going to have a lot more. Or next year we'll bleed into we'll have this year bleed into next year a little bit more than we're normal. But it'll all come out and we'll be able to enjoy it and have fun.
Well, and especially as two things. One, you used to have releases for Series 1 in like November, December. And yeah, sure, this is the opposite direction. But two, even with the seasons delayed, I mean, hockey's talking about finishing up mid-year and starting in like November, December, 2-3 months later, if not January. With CBAs expiring in a year or two, something to that effect, just like baseball. So it's going to be interesting, one, how the leagues handle it, and then two, passed on to the card companies.
Well, I'm going to say right now, the baseball players, I understand if you don't want to play this year for the reduced money, because I think that's kind of ridiculous, but
sure,
you got to figure your stuff out because, basketball and football are going to kick your ass.
Right.
And they have been. So.
And the scariest thing, if you're baseball right now, knowing that you have the CBA looming at the end of 2021, right? So you basically have this condensed year and one full season. And depending on how this goes, it really looks like baseball's trying to negotiate the next CBA through the media right now.
Right.
But the biggest problem is, let's say the NBA does come back. They're talking about running next year, the 2020-2021 season, starting in maybe December and running through August.
Yep.
That's the bread and butter. I mean, that's, the summer classic, right? Baseball is the summer sport. Mm-hmm. Well, not anymore, not next year, because it's very likely that the NBA will be there. And, baseball usually cornered the market there because hockey's done, basketball's done, by June.
Yeah.
Football
hasn't started yet.
Yeah, it hasn't started. It won't start until August. So you've got this June, July, August window, which is just really baseball, more or less. Mm-hmm. And next year, you're talking about the NBA, possibly the NHL. I don't know if they're on the same wavelength, but they might have to push theirs back. And if that's the case, baseball could be in for some dire times. I mean, we might be looking at something worse than 1994, unfortunately.
So barring a setback, which is what John just mentioned in chat there, John P., hockey is planning to. They said they're not starting until after July 1st, but they're essentially taking the bottom 7 teams, eliminating them. The season is over. 24 teams 8 teams playing in for each conference, and then starting the playoffs just as it regularly was, which is interesting to me because if none of the other sports are running and you're running some huge combo of playoff clusterfuck,
I'm all in on
it's only
hockey.
going to draw in fans.
Oh, because I remember watching the finals between the Blues and the Bruins last year, right?
Yeah.
And we would I had the Stanley Cup game on while we're doing the show, because it was that series was so good.
There's
and it was
nothing like playoff hockey.
Pretty much the only hockey I watched that was last year was the Cup Finals, and I was just mesmerized. And again, I think the NBA would be smart coming back and saying, "Hey, listen, we're going to have the final two playoff spots, 7 and 8 determined from a little quick 3-game series between the final 4 teams, and have the top 6 teams locked, and then start a playoffs. And then just run the playoffs normally. I think it would be a great tournament style, similar to March Madness. Have these guys playing, have 2 games every night, have triple headers. Hell, have them play in the afternoon. It would be, think of that, being able to tune in because everybody's working from home, being able to tune in and watch the NBA at like noon on the West Coast, 3:00 East Coast, right. and get basketball at noon, at 3, at 6, and at 9. You could run 4 games a day and just rake in ratings and fill those coffers with the money back up.
It's a great showcase for the sports that decide health in a healthy way, mind you.
Yeah.
They can play out their season.
Yeah, especially if they're down there playing in that Disney complex.
Right.
And, they can kind of control the environment and everything. That place down there is phenomenal, by the way. So we're going to hop into the Infield Chat, our Hobby Talk section of the show. Hobby Hotline, live this Saturday on YouTube, Periscope, Facebook, live, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. Dan Anderson will return from Mojo Breaks the Hype. Val Marsh from NASCAR Radio. A lot going on with NASCAR right now, and lots of entertainment there. They're running like 3 days a week like the old days. And Drew Herndon, Let Me Get That Potograph host, will be there. Breaking news. No one has said this publicly yet, and I don't know if I can or not, but we're going to do that right here. It's episode 100, and come at me, boys. But we're going to have a Monday night show of Hobby Hotline. So we're going to have the Hobby Hotline live every Monday night at 4 Pacific, 7 Eastern, to do a similar kind of show, but we're going to have more guests on Saturdays.
6 Central. We're
going to do more like new release and hobby, what hot hobby things going on that show. We kind of haven't nailed down everything yet, but hell, I think Steph and I are in the first episode of that, starting June 1st. We're going to hit that plan. Yeah, we're going to go live and figure it out. And so we need a nickname for it though, and trying to mull over a Monday night nickname for the show. So
I don't know if we have any people that are good with puns, or maybe that are great with ideas, but shoot us some ideas. Maybe we'll end up choosing one.
Yeah.
Also, Shep, I don't know what it is, if it's your camera or what, but your shirt keeps changing from like light blue to a much darker blue.
Oh, that's
weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
My color looks more. I'm wearing more of a royal blue T-shirt, and it looks more green, at least on my side.
Maybe it's the light. Maybe it's the lighting, because when I lean forward, there's a lot more light than when I lean back. I'm just rocking the old Brett jersey tonight.
So don't lean back,
George. You mean going back to an old show? You mean George Butt, right?
Yeah,
damn right.
We're this episode 0, baby. I got to bring it back.
No, so, that was an awesome comment we had this week from one of our listeners that said, who was it that we were talking about, and he wanted to find out whether or not you knew what you were talking about.
Oh, it was Dan the Man. Cardman Dan. But he wrote. Oh, by the way, a phenomenal email.
Yeah,
I read that thing like 3 times, printed out, and put it on my fridge, and then I sent it to my mom, and she framed it. So,
and he's like, I had to listen to Big Chef to find out if this guy really knew what he was talking about or not. And my only thing was, man, we're 100 episodes into this, and that's why we listen every week, because we're still not sure.
Yeah,
that was the Harold Baines comment. Which and Bainesy, as much as I love him, Oakland A's legend, not a Hall of Famer, not even close. Great player. Would love to have him in my lineup for 20 years. He was a great player, not a Hall
really
of Famer.
good.
Yeah.
The thing is if he's in the Hall of Fame, Dale Murphy should be in the Hall of Fame. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, you remember 2 months ago when people were lined up for like 2 miles outside Costco? If Harold Baines gets in, then there's that line of guys that have to get in now because you got to let in guys like Andrew Jones. There's just a ton of people you have to let in now.
Yeah,
sure.
So, anyway.
He wasn't even the best outfielder on the team in 81.
Oh, you're talking about your boy
Nordhagen.
Wayne Nordhagen.
Led the team in homers.
Yeah. So Blake and Beckett got together. I don't know if you guys saw this, but the July 2020 cover of Beckett Sports Card Monthly will be. Where's my producer
Sorry,
here?
Michael Scott.
There.
Will be the Mark McGuire. So I know I'm gonna have to pick a copy of this up, mail it off to New York, and have it autographed,
of course,
and send back to me for sure. Yeah, that is a phenomenal cover.
I just wish maybe they would have implemented.
Oh, I like it. Scotty
straight.
Anderson comes in Monday Night Hobby Heat. The Hobby Hotline Heat Edition. Maybe we'll figure something out.
It's not a bad suggestion.
Yeah, I like that. Note that. Somebody write that down. So I'm awesome. Dude, Blake is just blown up. He did Gary V's podcast today, and but after he's been on ours, so what's up there?
Yeah, so. Blake's such a good dude. I was talking to him about a couple things this past week, and he's a neat guy, and I love him to death. He's got a fan for life. It doesn't hurt that McGuire's kind of sexy either. I mean, it doesn't hurt in the least.
No,
you got Uncle Rich to buy one.
Yeah, that's what's awesome. The only thing is if we could have, included some kind of a troll comment on the back of the card. But, there was a truck fire this last week, and I don't know if you guys heard this, but and I always thought this was an interesting topic because it never really crossed my mind.
You mean there was a dumpster fire?
Well, that too, but a truck fire. Mike Summer said, well, you can deduct 5 Andrew Thiel Trout Project 2020 cards from the print run population. Just got notified from USPS that a mail truck fire destroyed my shipment to one of my customers. Yeah.
The good news is everybody, I believe, was okay as far as the truck fire. Nobody got hurt.
Well, the Trouts got hurt.
Well, the Trouts got hurt, but they are just cards. I mean, we don't want to lose a human life.
Just makes them more valuable.
You can go on eBay right now and buy those 5 back for like $800 a piece. Just
yeah, that's the thing. So I feel bad for Mikey. Hope all that worked out. Hope the driver's sake. Except for the fact, did you guys see the guy, the UPS bot or the USPS flat rate box that showed up today that was bent? It looked like someone had taken it and slammed it against the pole. It had a nice bend in it, and inside was a $5,000 box of O-Pee-Chee hockey from 85, 86.
85, 86, yep.
Just destroyed.
This one right here.
Dude, this had to have been. Look at that! It's accordioned.
That's all right. As long you can still tell what it is. It's hockey anyway.
Yeah, but you got Lemieux's rookie in there, and the box only cost $5,000.
And I think Brett, yeah.
Hopefully, it was insured.
Yeah,
not that I'm sure the BBCE guys are hurting it all, but
without getting too political, if the USPS ever goes to court against the federal government and funding, they're not going to have a whole bunch to land. If they're we're good at what we do, we're going to have a whole slew of pictures just within this hobby alone, where we can say, well, wait a minute,
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous. There was $1 million fish that was caught this week. Yeah, so Mike, was a Mike Trout. So Darren Bell tweeted out, and by the way, I'm going to talk about this Dick for in a minute. But auctioneer at Golden Auctions, who's a Kid Golden's just another gem of a person, has confirmed the winning bidder has paid for the Mike Trout card that was won last week. The total paid for it was $922,500, a modern card record. It was a 9.510 of the 2019 Bowman Draft Chrome Prospect Red Refractor out of 5. of Mike Trout. And there's part of the card there you can see. So
Hey,
if Steph would scroll, we can see the rest of the card, but $922,000. There you go for a Trouty auto. Nice, nice payday for someone.
Yeah, I mean, but it got paid, but that doesn't mean that money didn't change hands again.
so
Yeah.
I guess my biggest hobby letdown. I reviewed a post that I shared way back when, because I broke a box of this when it first came out. And 1 second.
Hey, Angela.
Hey, Angela.
Hi.
It's so great. I love it.
Everybody at once.
Comes
If
in
you're out there
screaming.
listening, if you're driving in your car tomorrow morning, which is now today morning, hey, Angela, let's do it together on the count of 3.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Welcome back to the show that we're doing live.
Hey,
For like 40
Steph.
people right now.
Steph, it's live, brother.
It is. So what I was going to say was, no, I broke a box or two of this way back in the day, and I even had an Angels outfielder, even MT, even
Mike
number
Trumbo.
25, even autographed.
Mike Trumbo.
Mark Trumbo.
There we go. Mark Trumbo.
Oh,
That's right.
That was so disappointing for a while. If you were breaking product or if you were getting into breaks trying to get the Angels, and as you're watching it being open back then in like 11, 12, 13, and you'd be like, you see the Angel logo and then you see the M and you're just like, it's the other Angel. Trumbo. Womp,
I have a
womp.
question about that. Does that bother you guys when you're watching breaks and somebody goes, "Oh, it's the wrong Yankee. It's the wrong Pelican. It's the wrong Dodger"?
Yeah, because
it's not, because they're not going to be in every box, or they wouldn't be worth that much money.
yeah.
Yep.
You know, like, let's have some real expectations. Or when someone's breaking product, come on, let's go Zion. Oh no, Zion.
Well,
Nice.
that's what it's become. It's like, if I buy a team, obviously, I'm only buying one team in one sport, so I might be the wrong person. But if I'm just talking in general, how do you know I'm not a big Mark Trumbo fan? And although, yeah, he doesn't have the same market as Mike Trout, but how do you know I'm not, Trumbo's number one fan? Laces out Ace Ventura, right? I got all of the Dan Marino stuff on my wall. How do you know I can't stand it's the wrong one? Hey, it's still a good card. It's a good pull. It's a good hit. Maybe it's not the one that we're after, that we're anticipating, but
I was watching some breaks with some stuff, and they would say the wrong Pelican, but it was Jackson Hayes, who was a lottery pick, who's a youngster whose career is like 50 or 60 games long.
Yeah.
We have no idea how good this guy could be. I mean, he's a big 6'10" linky guy. Like, he's playing with Zion. I mean, he could be a hell of a number 2 or 3 on that team. And that could be a great card someday. You're going to look back and go, yeah, it was the wrong DB. It's like, so getting back to my buddy here, Darren Ravel. I used to really enjoy Darren Ravel. And I can see why ESPN's got rid of him twice now. But he knows about the card trimming scandal, because he's done reports, he's sent out tweets and posted stories on the trimming and that kind of stuff. But constantly over the last 2 or 3 weeks, since really The Last Dance has aired, this SOB has done nothing but tweet out about PWCC sold items. And some Probstein. And I sent out a thing like, hey man, like, yeah, way to celebrate 2 of the biggest, yahoos in this whole industry that the collectors all know not to buy from these jerks, because all of their stuff is shillbid and put up. Which, by the way, Rick Probstein likes the tweet I talk shit about him in. And it's like, well, hey, like, at least you realize that, people are talking crap because, you're people are bumping up your cards, especially PWCC. If you go and look at sold auctions on any cards, and you look and it has that PWCC logo, if the card's $1,200, and you look at like 6 other auctions, they're all ending like $800. So why is theirs selling at the same exact time, selling for $400 more?
Yeah, there was a good time there where I was chasing for my Eats collection, And anything that went through Propstein was immediately $20 to $40 more expensive for no comparable reason. I mean, he was a weekend starter / turned into reliever in the Twins farm system. There's no reason in 2014 his auto should have been $40 to $60.
Yeah,
I get he played for LSU, and I think may have competed for the national title once or twice with who was on those early LSU teams? It'll come to me. But there's no reason they should have. And as soon as I started bidding on other ones, I got them exactly where they should have been.
Well, and I'm not the most in tune with the minor league systems, right? Especially outside of Oakland. But I'll be 100% honest. If that wasn't your guy, I never would have even known who that guy is. There's so much of that. If you're going to buy for one of these knuckleheads or chuckleheads, you've got to really know the ceiling of the market in which you're buying. And if you say it's a $20 card, put 20, let it ride. And if you get outbid, you get outbid, which the odds of that are extremely good, or you're going to pay your max, which is much more likely because they will shill you until you get to that max.
But it was funny because Ravel said, I'm not on their payroll, but continued to send out tweets the next week of PWCC things. And it's like, there are other sold auctions, shithead, of the same card.
Yeah.
So
Ravel's fun to follow because he has some good stories, but the dude is just a knucklehead. I mean, he's so full of himself. And it's one of those ones where there are good follows because there's good people and good information, and there's good follows because, like Jose Canseco, is a great follow because you never know if he's going to talk about aliens coming down or his latest business venture or,
the best follow on earth we're going to talk about here in a few minutes.
I mean, there are fun. Ravel, to me, is a fun follow. He's a good follow because he's entertaining, and that's what Twitter's about, right? But he's not good necessarily because you're going to learn anything.
Yeah, he's a shithead. Grandpa's cards. So there was a post that was sent out to tweet sent out to Phil Hughes this week from a guy named Tim. It was at NDTA123. Neat name. I don't know. Hey, Phil, my grandfather collected full sets of players from 60 to 2010, one pack at a time. He recently passed and has a tremendous amount of cards. Attaches a picture of about 60% of the full collection. Any advice to find someone with real interest? And I want to know where this guy lives.
It's amazing. Now, one of the things that I saw interesting as I thumbed through these 172, and 75, 73, it looks like. But there's a lot of tops total. And I don't know if maybe just the guy wanted to collect every single player that came out that year. Interesting. Top 63 to 69. I mean, I'd love to spend time just flipping through some of these 2011 tops.
Yeah.
Plus all of the books on the bottom shelf, which these things aren't that sturdy. I have one of these, but all of that weight on the bottom is going to hold everything in place.
Yeah. That looks so much fun. But I thought,
also looks like her office at work. But
I was about to say that looks like
it looks like there's more room in there.
Looks like Uncle Rich's trunk.
You're not lying.
So I just thought I'd bring that up because I know how I love digging through boxes and seeing just what I mean. I don't have them anymore as I've gone through most everything in the last 3 months, but I would find a random box and dig through, and you go, "Oh shit! I didn't know I had that."
You know what would be fun about that collection is, let's just use the three of us as an example. If the three of us went through that collection together, what we would all consider gold would be completely different, right? That's what's so amazing about this hobby, is the fact that each of us, everybody watching right now, everybody listening, we could all go through that stuff and we would all find something different and go, this is my gold piece. This is what I am after. That's what I love about this, is as much as we have negativity in this hobby, we all view it a little bit differently, and what we think is the best,
Well, and it's one of those that, it's a dream case of, hey, I have a lot of things. Can you come check them out? I want a valuation on my stuff. I want to sell it. And it's all like 89 to 92 Donruss, which, I mean, yeah, sure, I'd love. But That aside, not everyone wants it, and you can probably pick it up for $5 in regular market terms. But some of that stuff, especially pre-80 and like 95 to 2005 to 2010, even maybe, some people are still searching for that just because it doesn't come up as often.
Yeah. We talked about that on the Hobby Hotline this week. Was with Dr. Beckett was, hey, like from the strike years, like from 95 through like really the early 2000s, like I don't ever see boxes anywhere of that stuff. Even when it was the National, I didn't see hardly any baseball boxes from that 15-year period.
Now, I did see a couple years back, somebody had a case of unopened cans from 98 Pinnacle.
We talked about that, the soup cans. That was fun. If you haven't checked out the Hobby Hotline last week with Dr. Beckett and Uncle Rich came on, and then we just kind of let them. We all sat back and just let them talk for a while. It was amazing.
Well, yeah, it was wise. Just sit back and let them talk.
It was most fun I've had in a while.
It's almost like you have Lennon and McCartney in your front room, and you're like, "Hey guys, can you put I'm playing guitar here right now." It's like that
takes you back to The Office.
I mean, I think it would be more like Lennon and Ringo.
When I'd be Ed Helms and you're Daryl, and then obviously Steph's Kevin, and we're jamming out, and then Robert California and everybody and all those other guys start coming into play, and we end up just walking away.
We're Kevin and the Frogs.
Yeah.
So I guess the players I was looking for was Bregman, Nola, and Katz, who, one of them turned out decent.
Bregman. We found another celebrity that's going to be an Allen Ginter this year, Johnny Bananas. He said he was excited. There you go. Excited to announce that his autograph card will be featured in the upcoming special edition of Topps Allen Ginter. If you don't know who Johnny Bananas is, it's not Johnny Drama from Entourage, but it's a guy that's been on a bunch of MTV Challenge shows, and he also hosts a show called First Look TV on NBC. It plays every Saturday night after SNL.
So I guess this is a video, but
yeah. So he's gonna have autographs out. So
needs to work on his penmanship, though.
Yeah, but that's two so far. We found out that the baseball Brit's gonna have one in Johnny Bananas. So big Allen and Ginter nerds. I wish they'd bring back the code thing. I never was collecting when they were doing those code chases. So,
oh yeah,
and then you'd get your card in there.
I think they stopped that for the 10th. So what? 2014, 2015, somewhere in there.
Yeah. And I really wasn't into Allen again at that time. I mean, I was collecting randos here and there, but I wasn't opening any boxes or anything. So, I want to know about this. So, at Gatorful asked Phil Hughes if there's any chance that he'd re-sign a card that had a faded auto. It was a 2007 Upper Deck Sweet Spot signatures. And Phil reached out to the community and says, what's the consensus on this? Probably okay if it's a PC item. If he ever probably plans to sell it, probably a no.
The thing with these is, especially this year in particular, these are notorious for the signatures fading just because of the type of fake leather they used for the baseball hide. And I think the best answer that I saw personally was someone said to sign it and then date what day he signed it. Because if he inscribes it, 5/27/2020, this is a 08/09 product.
Right.
So it's indicated that he's signed it after release. But it's a nice tribute, and hey, if it's truly the person's PC, then they get what they want.
Or you write to Bob.
Sure. To Bob, 5/27/2020, Phil Hughes. Philip Hughes, whatever he wants to sign.
I think he should, though.
It's a good idea. I'd love to see him do it.
That'd be interesting. So yeah, I think he's right in asking. I think that was neat of him to kind of ask and get feedback from others to think what collectors actually think about that.
And more so, he didn't provide his opinion first. He just said, "Hey, what do you guys think of me doing this?"
Yeah.
Phil handled it the right way. I mean, it was completely transparent, and a lot of people had the same kind of a backhanded compliment. Well, it's only going to be a $10 auto at most anyway, so what does it really matter? Most people aren't chasing it, but see, I think the integrity is behind the fact that he signed it in 2008, and it did fade. I have a Dennis Eckersley one that's almost gone. It was a bad product. That particular year, that particular one. Is there anything wrong with the same player signing it a second time? 12 years later, however long it's been.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. But I think the date idea is great. I'm going to re-sign it, or if there's room on there to say to Bob, Phil Hughes, because it's a PC item. But I do commend Phil for being transparent and having integrity and saying, instead of just telling the guy, either piss off or, hey, send it to me and I'll sign it, depending on what site he decided to come out on.
And he probably will anyway. But
yeah, I think that's really cool. And I think, asking the hobby for their opinion, and I think we probably all err on the same side of, hey, there's really nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. And people have given Phil a lot of crap about like his collecting and stuff. Dude, I think in general, he has been a really good thing for the hobby. If you've ever sat down and spent some time going through his YouTube channel, and what he's breaking some like weird late 90s, mid 2000s stuff. He opened a 93 finest box the other day, and he takes his lumps like the rest of us in collecting. I mean, he's got money to buy the higher end stuff, and a lot of it he turns and sells, or he does the box wars, which are always fun, but he's very honest in like what's going on and what he thinks about the cards and the signatures, and he doesn't pull any punches. It's great to see. I love what he's added, and I hope he continues to do that. So, and just because he has money doesn't mean he can't collect cards. He just collects in a different way than most of us are able to. So, but I wonder if he's going to be buying Up Brady. So ESPN announced that they're going to air a 9-part series in 2021 on Tom Brady titled "The Man in the Arena," and there was a minute and a half promo for it. It talks about Brady's journey from being a young boy to being the Super Bowl champion and moving to then on to Tampa Bay. But is it time to buy up all the Bradys you can find? Is it time to make that run on Tom Brady like I've been making that run on Eddie Taubensee this last week?
I would say it's definitely not a time to sell, but I mean, for the most part, Brady rookies are already super expensive for the most part anyway.
I'm just talking about parallels and numbered and
sure, pick them up if you can.
SPs and things like that.
It's not the wrong time.
No, it cracked me up too, because as soon as this got announced, within 5 minutes, I was scrolling through Facebook just randomly, and people are all over it. Hey, you got any Brady's for sale? Got any Brady's? And it's just like, oh dear Jesus, here we go. But if you're part of that flip life, yeah, right now, buy any Brady you can get your hands on and sit on it for a year, and but just do it within your means, because you are going to have to sit on it a year, and there's no guarantee we'll see a spike with Brady. We can assume that we'll see a similar spike, but just be careful fiscally if you decided to do this. But now would be the time.
Yeah, no, definitely. Now speaking of being fiscally responsibly, who's going out to plunder retail? Just go in and just snatch it all up, and the kids, and I'm going to take it all, and it's mine. Let's do it.
For what it's worth.
Okay, sorry.
If anyone wants one of these, I have one.
Oh, nice. Sacramento legend Giovanni Caramazzi rookie card.
Indeed. I think he played like a game in the NFL.
No, I think he played all.
Yeah, 49.
Raising goats somewhere up north.
Yeah.
He's a weird
49ers legend.
Head coach of a high school here, and he is definitely a weirdo.
Wasn't he didn't he win the Heisman?
Who, Giovanni? I think at Hofstra, whatever that division.
Warren Payton Award finalist his senior
year. He's a finalist.
Gotcha. Okay.
He actually was a UOP signee, if you remember UOP football. My buddy was on the last football team at UOP in New Geo. And you know what's funny about that UOP team? 4 of the quarterbacks on that team made it to the NFL. And on active rosters for more than 2 years. One of the great ones, Craig Wheelahan. I don't remember the Chargers' great quarterback right before Ryan Leaf. Craig Wheelahan.
Per Wiki, against Brady's New England Patriots in the 2000 Pro Football Hall of Fame game, Carmazzi struggled, completing only 3 of 7 passes for 19 yards in a 20-0 loss.
Yeah.
That was the greatest game of his professional career.
Yeah.
He played in NFL Europe.
GTO. So Plundering Retail. So there was this guy at Brady on Twitter buying up all the retail products and reselling it. It is making me sick. You guys are worse than pack searchers.
Pack perverts.
Well, he said pack searchers. I'm just saying pack perverts are pretty bad. Because at least the people buying it all up aren't fondling it and trying just to buy the packs they think are hot. So we've seen a lot of this lately. I mean, with with Bowman and with Mosaic. I have zero problem if you're there and you're able to turn it and make some money when people are paying just obnoxious prices. Then go ahead. I mean, that's your prerogative. If you're going to open it and bust it all yourself, I don't care about that either. Do that because it's so expensive to buy a hobby. When Jumbo's $600 a box and a hobby box is $320. I think our buddy Bo Spencer said basically if you bought a case of blasters, it was 20, I think $20 and 20 blasters is $400. He got more autos. I mean, he got more autos than he did in his hobby box, more color, more cards, all of that stuff. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? We keep bringing this up, but with what we've seen lately.
Yeah, it's relevant every week. That's why. I've come around on this. At first, I was probably more on the fence of you should only take what you plan on opening personally. We've talked about how the margins aren't what they appear to be if you're doubling the MSRP. It's tough to say, right? Everybody's always like, "Oh, save some for the kids." Dude, kids aren't in there buying it; they really aren't. Families probably aren't buying it. I mean, yeah, occasionally, but the bottom line is and I think this is where a lot of people look at it. If I don't buy it, the next me will. It's not going to be the kids that's going to come in there and buy a random blaster and take it through the check stand. It's going to be another cart full of this product if I don't buy it. And I don't necessarily know that's the right way to look at it, but I think that's the mentality of a lot of people. I mean, it's there. It's for sale, right? Is there anything? Does anybody have an issue with somebody going out and buying something else out of stock that's on the shelf? I mean, theoretically, it's going to be refilled within a reasonable amount of time by the store, and somebody else can buy it. This stuff doesn't necessarily get reloaded, but it's available for sale, and the retailer doesn't care because they're just looking to move that product as soon as possible.
Well, yeah. Why they want to have new stuff on the shelf anyway? I think Ben, you worked with distributors and putting stuff into retail businesses. I ran retail businesses, and we wanted stuff on the shelf to move. We didn't want it to sit there and look pretty and have everybody opportunity. If I had a guy come in, he wanted to buy 400 DVD players, I was getting him carts. Like, let's go, bro. Like, I had a customer. His name was Mr. Jane. He would come in literally and buy 10 copies of every movie that released on a week, every video game. He would buy Blu-ray players like they're going out of style. And what he was doing is boxing them up and putting them on a boat and shipping them to God knows where and selling them for tons of money. And that's how he made his money. I didn't care. I was making sales and getting bonuses. So what did I care where the stuff was going?
I used to work when I worked for Hostess. There was a place in West Sacramento that was kind of like a cash and carry or maybe something where you have to have a business license in order to get in the front door, right? And you see these different people that would just load up on specific products, whether it was cigarettes or bread or whatever, right? if you go to Costco first thing in the morning, you see that all the time. Or like we have a big grocery chain here on the West Coast called Winco, and you see them going in there and just shopping carts of Gatorade at 60 cents a bottle because they're going to take it back to their liquor store and charge $1.89, and they're going to double or triple their cost, right? Their internal rate of return is going to be 2x, 3x every single time. And at first it's like, hey, wait a minute, I too would like to drink some Gatorade, and I too would like to buy it for 60 cents. But at the end of the day, it's really none of my business who's buying what. Yeah. And the grocery store doesn't really care, because if it's going through the back door, through the front door like that, why would they care? They're getting their money. I mean, that product's not even sitting on a shelf long enough to get some dust on it.
Yeah. Well, no, and like my buddy Nick here in town, it's outside guy on Twitter. He came across, and he's not a ripper flipper guy, right? But he had 2 incidents in the last month where he was in a Target or Walmart randomly and found Mosaic and Bowman and bought what he could afford and flipped it. And I reached out to him, and he had some Bowman left. And, he said, dude, he goes, we've done some trades and stuff in the past. He hooked it up to me at cost. Basically, he made his money back. And then I had some Mosaic he wanted, and we kind of include that in the deal. And then he hands me a Wit first Bowman Chrome and says, man, I appreciate everything you're doing. And, sometimes it's, and like Prism Hoops sold it to me at cost. I just had to pay the shipping. So it was a little bit more, but he's like, I'd much rather have it go to somebody I know. And so there's that too. So I think that it's crazy. And I think people should just I understand the outrage. I feel like it's just a bunch of Karens if you get that. So it's just if it was you buying it, you wouldn't have anything to say about it, but because it's not you, you have something to say about it. And that's
the jealousy factor. Yeah.
It's just stupid.
It's you see the hot girl with the guy, and you're like, what's he got that I don't have? Well, first off, he's got her.
Jesse's girl.
It's that envious of your, you want to be, you keep up with the Joneses, right? You keep your eyes in your own front yard and not your neighbor's. The bottom line is, especially on Facebook, and it cracks me up, these guys crying about it, save it for the kids. And it's like, listen, again, the 12-year-old's not in there buying it. If it's not me, it's one of you guys that are buying. And if it's not the three of us, it's another group of three that are out there going store to store that are buying it. And you can name call all you want. You can be jealous all you want. The bottom line is, unless there are hard limits, which I don't ever see Targets and Walmart's doing, it's first come, first served. Just be polite and kind to the vendor stocking the shelf. Don't sit outside. Yeah, don't follow them into the store. Don't meet them at their car. I mean, that's crossing a line. But if you walk into the store and it's there, buy some. I looked the other night when I went to Walmart to see if they had some Mosaic, not because that's what I collect, but I would have been more than happy buying it and offering it on Twitter to say, hey, listen, if you pay my Walmart cost at $21.54, which, with California state sales tax, and I'll find out what it costs to ship, I don't even want to make a penny. I'll package this up. Cool. Because as long as I know it's going to like one of you guys, that you guys are going to open it up and keep it and collect it, even if you're selling off what's inside, that's different than me than trying to,
I put this out there. Somebody was bitching about it and saying, you selling this box for more than what you paid for it is blah, blah, blah. So real quick, just to give you an idea. So a hobby shop is selling a hobby box for $320. They paid around $85 to $95 for that box if they pre-ordered it. They're selling a jumbo box at $600. And that box they paid in the neighborhood of $140 to $150 for. So they have to make money to pay to have the store open and have this product, right?
No, they don't.
But if it was a bad year and they had to take a loss on it, they're doing the same thing, but they have to do it so they can continue the relationship with their distributor.
Yeah.
But if you buy a box off the shelf at Walmart for $20 and there's 72 cards in there, each card was valued at 28 cents. So if you sell one of those cards for more than 28 cents, you're taking advantage of somebody. And I posted that because this guy was going off. So if you pulled a Dominguez auto, numbered to 10, that somebody's willing to pay 10 grand for, say, and you charge more than the 28 cents, aren't you ripping that person off?
Theoretically, math is math, right? Anybody
so the guy's point didn't make any sense.
Yeah, if you're coming at it like, hey, you're buying it at $20 and you're selling it at $40, okay, then the next time you go into Walmart or Costco, then you need to go up to the highest ranking manager and say, listen, I know you're selling this item. You're selling this can of Folgers to me at $9, and I know you didn't pay $9. I want to pay the invoice cost. Whatever you paid through the back door, you guys are making money off of me, and I don't like that. And see how far that flies. It's like, yeah, that's how business works. And then it's not to say that us individually are businesses necessarily, right? I mean, we can be. But at the end of the day, yeah, everybody makes money off of something. And if you're the one that's out there bitching about it, you're just probably bitching about that because, again, it's not you that's doing it.
You didn't think about doing it. And that's what upsets me about this. Some people don't think about doing it, and then they're pissed because they didn't. And the same people, we're going to get into this about Project 2020. Those are the same people bitching because they didn't hop in when the Trout Ermsey released, and there was only 1,300 of them printed. But now they're like, oh well, it's all this. So we're going to get into that a little bit. But real quick, Brian Great. Okay.
Real quick before you go on, just remember. There was a guy one time who was suicidal and depressed, walking down a beach and picked up a rock and put it in his pocket because he didn't have a friend. And then he ends up putting that rock with a little piece of paper and says, "This is my pet rock, and he's my friend." And he put it in a little box. And the next thing you know, he becomes a millionaire, literally selling pet rocks. Okay,
lawyer in a weird time.
Yeah, lawyer in Canada, drinking his cup of coffee. Burns his hand and goes, ouch. If there was only something that would go around this coffee that I could hold my hot cup of coffee, I wouldn't burn my hand. And thus the Java jacket gets created, and he sells that idea for $6 million, which unfortunately for him, he left a lot of money on the table, right? Dime a dozen, right? Millions and millions of ideas that we could use as a reference point. You didn't think of it. My hand too got burnt, and I used to have a rock in my pocket, and guess what? I don't have any money.
A rock, but you don't have a USB pet rock.
What's funny is there was always a story told in a bunch of sales classes I took about the Tapatio company that makes the hot Tapatio hot sauce. They had a sign that says if you can. Or I'm sorry, no, it wasn't Tapatio. It was Tabasco.
The other white meat.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Tabasco.
Okay.
They had a sign that says, hey, they had $1 million plan. Like if you had an idea to have them make more money that worked, they would give you $1 million bonus. And there was a guy on the job for 2 weeks and had the idea, went to his lawyer, got it all secured. So they knew it was his idea, went into the meeting, and all he had was a bottle of Tabasco, a hammer, and a nail. Put the nail in the top of open the bottle, put the nail in the top of the hole, hammered it in, pulled the nail out, made the hole bigger, and said, there you go. And they said, what the hell did you just do? He goes, because when you go to breakfast, if you put Tabasco on your eggs, how many shakes are you? Are you a 2-shake guy, a 3-shake guy? I'm a 3-shake guy. Okay, well, shake it 3 times with a regular bottle. Shake it 3 times with my bottle. More sauce came out. Therefore, now the hole's bigger. People are used to putting 3 shakes on. They're going to do 3 shakes. More sauce will come out. Therefore, you will sell more product. Boom. There you go. There's your $1 million idea. Like if you ever notice Mountain Dew, they have a bigger mouth can open than all the other brands. Because kids are drinking Mountain Dew. You can drink it a lot faster. Yeah.
I used to work for dryers when their half gallons were 1.75 quarts, right? And I think right now, if I'm not mistaken, they're at 1.63. Why? The shape of the container is exactly the same as it used to be. But if you turn that son of a bitch over, that little incline on the bottom, right? It keeps getting higher and higher and higher.
It will be like those little dollar cup ones.
Yeah. When you scoop it, You go in there and your spoon's going to hit that bottom a hell of a lot quicker than it used to 10 years ago.
You buy a bag of chips now, and it just all air. Or you remember like the normal size, like the big bag of like M&Ms you would buy, like the regular was like was called the pounder, and now it's like 13.75 ounces.
Oh, it's 16.9 ounce.
It's so. Heather hates it when we go shopping, right? Because if we need to get two of something, right, you're going to need 2 small cans of refried beans, or you get the big one. And I'm in there doing the ounce by ounce to figure out, economically speaking, which one I'm getting more bang for my buck. One I'm paying $2.38 for, and the other $2.32. Cool, I'll get the 2 smaller cans.
So logically, I guess we should ask you and Heather that: do you buy more hot dog buns or more hot dogs, because they're unequal amounts provided?
The idea, though, is depending on, because now we're getting way off, but. Yeah, there are 8 packs of hot dogs, just like there are 8 packs of buns, right? But the idea is, if you buy 3 packs of hot dogs and 2 packs of buns, at some point the math works itself out. Hot dogs are specifically designed that way because you're supposed to buy them for parties.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the other thing too, is you got to buy an extra pack of hot dog buns.
Speaking of eating wieners, we're gonna go from there. Speaking of eating wieners, Brian Gray was eating eBay this weekend. The Elite CEO sent a few tweets. Been snapping up any Acuna autos I can find under 100. Just feels like one of those cards where he will eventually be $200 signed, and it's just anything. It's just about anything. May take a year or two, but 100% or more, even in 24 months, would work for me. I'll use some in repacks, obviously, but wouldn't mind buying 500 to 1,000 mixed for my portfolio. Ask around, and the guys will tell you I did those Jordan autos when the North Carolina stuff was 250 to 300. And then he also had a second tweet. This is so fun spending money. Spent $50K already this AM. Latest buy 88.89 Fleer Stockton PSA 9. Just bought every copy on eBay for 100 or less. And he's talking about not going to the National and if there will be one. But so this guy's out there, buying all these. That's awesome. Whatever. Whoop-de-doo. I was watching our buddy Ryan, who owns Card Collector 2 on Twitter and Insta, and has the shop, and he's on YouTube. And I was watching a video of him opening 2020 Leaf Vault, streamed May 22nd, and they pulled a Jerry Rice autograph, and it's a fucking Post-it. Jerry Rice, by the way, is still alive and breathing, and can autograph things, and somehow, with all the stuff you can buy at Jerry Rice, this lump of hot dog puts an autographed Jerry Rice Post-it and has it as Beckett certified the autograph.
So I guess what you're saying is, in his case anyway, he needs to go buy a couple hundred of those stacks of Post-its that come...
Get the colored ones. Why'd you get the yellow, the ugly, boring yellow one?
So that they're cascaded. That way you can rip this one off, and you can sign the next one underneath it and the one underneath it instead of just the regular pull-up tabs.
All right, listen to me, boys. Okay, this is going to be the smartest thing I've ever said on this show. Okay? Tim, you're just jealous because he's got a real trading card company and you don't. Okay? He is upgraded. He's out of his mom's guest room now. He's no longer in a basement.
He has a Whataburger nearby.
He's spending 50,000 something pesos, pennies, we don't know. But he's on eBay right now buying cards that you can't, and he's going to save them. You're just jealous that you didn't buy the Jerry Rice Post-it. Okay, that's all this is. Brian Gray is a genius. If you don't believe me, just DM him, and he will light your DMs up. And he would tell you how smart he is.
So I was watching this video. I mean, there was a Joe Montana helmet that came out or whatever. But Ryan got excited because if you see the bubble mailer on his lap, it says Jerry Rice autograph. And he goes, "Oh, guys, this is going to be..." Because he was doing a draft thing where everybody bought a spot and they got one item out of there, but there was a draft. So you got to pick your favorite item from the box as they went away. And he thought the Montana helmet would be number one. But he goes, "Oh, my God, there's a Jerry Rice autograph in here." And he's all, "This is awesome, guys. This is awesome." Pulls out, and it's a fucking Post-it.
So, I guess what you're saying is, since I had Brian Gray himself sign a dummy card at the National last year, I can sell it for $50,000.
Sure, because a dummy signed a dummy.
Probably the only Post-it note he signed.
Yeah, a dummy signed a dummy. It's a one of one. I just thought it was funny. I was watching the video and I was laughing, and so I had to get a screenshot of it. And I didn't share. I was like, how are you going to be a reputable company and sign a post of a living person? Now, say this was I don't know, Kirby Puckett.
Sure.
Okay, it's different because there's not going to ever be any more Kirby Puckett autos.
Yeah, you'll take what you can get.
Yep.
But Jerry Rice is alive, and he signs all the time, all over the place.
Yeah.
You're the CEO of a supposed card company. You couldn't get a deal with him to sign even 100 items? I mean, that Post-it's probably thicker than any card stock that they're going to produce. But
I was looking on Sport Lots earlier today, and you see Panini, and there's one single Panini select card I'm looking for, and a couple Bowman or Topps parallels from Gypsy Queen still, and so I'm looking at a couple of different things, right? And it's got Onyx on there for 2020. It's got Leaf on there, so I'm like, all right, let me see what Leaf has, and it says, sorry, no Rose. So I'm thinking to myself, is nobody bought this stuff? And you got to think that there's got to be a card. Somebody's got a Leaf card that they want to throw up on Sport Lots from this year. Or is this stuff just gold and everybody just buys this and keeps it because it's phenomenal? I mean, if you ask their VP reps, they'll tell you that this stuff is amazing.
Have you guys seen their stuff this year? Their best stuff is the repack stuff that they bought of other people's cards that have been graded by another company.
I had that conversation with whatever the guy's name was, Eric or Josh or Greg. I think Greg, a couple weeks back, on my lunch break, and we're talking, and we were talking about the leather and lumber stuff that he was doing, and I'm like, I'm gonna be 100% honest. Those Bat Kings and stuff, Reggie Jackson, Jose Canseco, I said they don't appeal to me. And we talked about this a few weeks back on the show after that conversation. Every ace card appeals to me, even if it's one I don't buy and I don't end up with. I still want it. I still like to look at it and go, man, I wish I had that, but right now I've got to draw a line somewhere. I can't buy everything. And when I see those Leaf stuff from this year, I just look at it and go, man, that's an easy pass. And even though it's unlicensed, that's not like me, right? So it goes to show what my thought is on that. It's just crap.
You hold their cards in your hands that are base cards. I mean, they are see-through. They make 96 Fleer look thick.
Now their national convention stuff last year, the Jose Canseco was solid. Looks like Panini Prism. It's a good looking card. It's decent stock. It's a nice addition for a couple bucks in my collection. But when we're struggling to find a product, a card to say something nice about, I
don't even include in the notes anymore because their product. I mean, Leaf Flash Base Football is supposed to come out today. It got pushed back again. But yeah,
to me, Leaf is a slight level above Onyx.
Oh, I think Gypsy Oak is head of a Leaf in Onyx.
Oh, good. Jeff's amazing.
So, even Gummy Arts. I draw baseball cards. All those cards to me are
Mark Mosley.
They're producing.
Yeah.
So, Bowman.
Just real quick, it cracks me up because every time I get into a theoretic discussion with Brian, or if he comes across something I say that's even slightly negative towards them, his forever argument is, well, if you think you can do better, then you open up a trading card company.
No, I'm not stupid.
No, I'm not that dumb. I'll buy cards. This is my hobby, my man. I rely on you to create a good product. You were that dumb, right? There have been 45 individuals that have been president of the United States. You know what? I'm not that dumb either. I don't want that job. That can be for anybody else.
Maybe 70 years ago was a fun thing to do, but not now.
Well, yeah, when you could go smoke, in the, back in the days of Truman and stuff, when you could have your cigar and your brandy in the back room of a gentleman's club and literally run the country out of that thing. Sure, that might have been fun when days of J. Edgar Hoover and stuff. But right now, no thanks. I don't want to be the president, and I don't want to own a trading card company.
No, I mean, my dream was always, I think, if I ever became just won the lottery and uber rich, I'd have a card shop. And I still think I would do that because I wouldn't have to rely on it for income. But if it was my reliability for income, I'd be scared to death. especially now because trying to get product is ridiculous. And then when it's in a bad times and you have to spend money, no one's spending. When cards aren't collectible, that they're available, but it's hard then to sell them because nobody wants them. So where's that happy medium called 2015? But hey, there's some 2020 Bowman updates we want to hit. So it dropped last Friday, and Phil Hughes opened up some.
You know who else did?
Who did?
I did.
Yeah, you did as well.
Retail, live on page.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. So he pulled a Philip Clark auto, kind of. It was missing the autograph. He wasn't the only one. I know Mojo Break pulled one too, live in a break, and then I saw a third one. And then I've also seen these autographed as well. So some are autographed, some are not. Pretty awesome.
Also, I spent the last few minutes searching WorthPoint and several other similar websites, and I couldn't find a Jerry Rice signed Post-it. So he must have had it signed himself.
Can you autograph my Post-it?
Here, can you autograph my Whataburger napkin? I hope he's listening.
Oh, Brian, you need to come on the show. We're gonna have a lot of fun.
Call into the hobby hotline one day.
Okay.
Open invitation. You want to come and hang out with us? You, Probstein, that douchebag at PWCC.
Let's go have
all you
Whataburger.
morons have an opportunity. The guy that runs that awful other podcast we talked about, PWCC, was on. If you want to come on and hang out with us, and
I'll buy
watch
you a
paint
whole,
dry.
Yeah, I will. Listen, if Brian comes on the hobby hotline on a week that I'm on, I will be more than happy to buy him a whole package, 100 Post-its, and then he can go out and get them autographed by whomever he likes.
Number them.
Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do parallel ones, right? You got the pink parallels, the orange parallels. I'll go over to the Dollar Tree, and I'll tweet about it too. I'll be like, I'm over here right now buying Brian Gray Post-its. I'm buying him PSA 9 Post-its. Player to be determined.
See, now you need to actually go to a hobby, to a dollar store, and show that you're getting hobby supplies, and live stream it.
I can write that off on my taxes as a business expense.
This needs to happen. Do it.
Bloody. Brian, if you're out there listening, we love you. You are
guys,
free entertainment. Netflix
there's people talking
$12.99 a
about
month.
how nice Leaf Metal Draft is. Here we go, guys. There's 85 cards in the set. Here are the parallels. All right, I'm just going to read these off because I want to pull these. Ben, if you can count while I read them. Ready?
I don't know.
Tally marks.
That's asking a bit much.
All right. Silver Wave. Crystal's silver. Blue. Purple. Blue Wave. Pink. Black. Crystal's blue. Purple Wave. Crystal's purple. Green. Pink Wave. Red, white, and blue. Black Wave, Crystal's pink, orange, Crystal's black, green wave, red, white, and blue wave, Crystal's green, Crystal's red, white, and blue, orange wave, Crystal's orange, red wave, Crystal's red, Crystal's gold, gold wave, and printing plate.
That's
how many?
Was that 30? With the printing plate being the 30th, I think?
And all numbered to 50 or less. Multiple of them, 1, 2. Every number is, let's see, you have a 50, a 40, a 35, 20. There's 3 15s, 4 10s, 4 7s, or 3 7s, 4 5s, 4 4s. Like, it's just, and some of these guys in this product, like, weren't drafted.
Can you throw that comment by Zachary in the YouTube chat up on the screen? That's funny because we've talked about Prism in the past.
Prism's redonkulous too.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But this is the one product they're standing on. Like,
well, the one thing you can say about Prism, if football, is licensed, basketball is licensed, baseball is not licensed, but at least it's major leaguers.
Well, well, the other thing too is with Prism, they have, and it's just because they bastardized the brand, but there's like 6 versions of Prism that they release. Like, there's a retail only exclusive, there's the Asian exclusive, there's the first off the line, there's a handful of different ones. Right, there's a jumbo, there's the value pack ones and stuff. This is all shoved into one box where you're getting like a few cards a box. Anyway, I just everybody was talking about it. I had to pull it up because I knew it was goofy, and I'm like, anyway, bag of boxes.
and again, I told this guy Greg that, when your boy BG's out there and he's bragging about how much money he has, it means that you don't have nearly as much. And the bottom line is nobody cares how much you're spending. Nobody cares. You have $50,000 spent on eBay? Neat. Our buddy Twin Shake is spending more than that on Project 2020 every day.
He spent $30K a day.
Yeah, and he's doing it every day.
A day. What?
He's got his own American Express customer service rep living in his mom's house with him.
And the thing, and like we heard John Newman on the Hobby Hotline. There was a teenage kid at the National this year walking around with $30K himself.
Mm-hmm.
Right, from ripping and flipping and doing his thing. Props to that kid running a business at 13, having that much cash. That's awesome.
I think I ran into him at work this week, but that's another topic.
Oh yeah, that was fun. But no,
we had a kid contact us asking. So we announced sometime late last year that we had a policy that we would return items bought within 60 days for good reason. Kid contacts us and says that I want to return all 20 of these items. Not in the spirit of the release, not in the spirit of our returns policy, but as a one-time issue, made a note in his account, and we'll return them. Every single one of them were Vladimir Guerrero, not the rookie, but the rookie debut from Updates.
So what was it, a depreciation issue?
Every single one of them had been repriced and priced and repriced and priced like 5-6 times a day.
Yeah.
Now, if that doesn't scream, someone told him, hey, buy this guy. If the season starts, you'll be able to make your money back.
That was the big issue we had with ComC. When I say we, a lot of individuals on Twitter had that discussion about what that could potentially present. So it doesn't surprise me that it's happened.
Now, I'm not saying that that's what the case was or any number of reasons that he could have asked for his return.
Yeah, it's weird.
Just saying what it looks like.
You both bought some guy, and then all of a sudden now you want to move on from him.
Yeah, and like I said, we returned it. Pay one-time issue. I get it. You make this mistake again,
to be honest, though, I haven't heard many issues with the return thing on there, and I know tons of people are selling.
One thing, or a couple of weeks back, we had an issue where someone would price an item within seconds it would be bought, and another guy was already trying to buy it, and the other guy who did buy it would reprice it before the third guy would buy it. So he would pay the repriced price, not the price that he initially saw, within 5 seconds, 10 seconds.
Gotcha.
Well, okay, sure. You get the return because, unfortunately, while you saw the Chipper Jones 1991 Upper Deck card for $1, someone bought it underneath you, priced it for $4, and when you went to pay, you got charged $4 because 1, 2, 3, boom, you got screwed.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. We get it.
So getting back to Bowman 2020, mega boxes are coming to Target. So we remember the run on these last year and the last couple of years. You're going to get 4 10-card packs, which are base Bowman products, but you're going to get 2 exclusive 5-card Chrome packs of the Mega or the Mega Mojo or whatever they call them again. They're selling $20 a box, and then they're going to go for $100. God knows this year they're going to go for like $1 billion.
Well, and that's
Jason Dominguez Mojo parallel.
These may resell well, but I never see them on the shelves. I never see Topps or Bowman Holiday. Thank God last year with the gorgeous design that they had, we found that $17.99 set.
The greatest find ever. For cheaper than a blaster, we got the full set of and the rookies in there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, that's a sleep set.
I mean, I couldn't pass it up.
No, and so hey guys, I remember was it 2018? These never hit Sacramento because my buddy. This is how I met Eric Van the Man on Twitter. This is how I met him. As we were chatting, and I finally put 2 and 2 together. He was legitimately hunting every day, stalking every Target he could drive to find some, just because he wanted to open them, and he couldn't. his dad, who was living in Hawaii at the time, they couldn't find any there either. And last year we actually saw them here, and they were a little more plentiful because I think they made more of it. I opened some of this stuff, dude. It's not that great. I mean, you get your Bowman cards in there, outstanding, but those 5 Chrome packs are tough unless you hit somebody. I hit a Seth Beer auto, green auto, which I'm super happy with in one of like the 3 boxes I opened, because that's technically his first Bowman auto, but it doesn't say that, so I don't know. But and he got traded, so. But be on the lookout for that. That's gonna be the next thing everybody's gonna be swooping up. Speaking of buying everything, Project 2020. Now, I feel like we haven't talked a lot about this on the show. We talked some on the Hobby Hotline. Originally, when it came out, again,
it's all that I see in one major private group DM that I see.
Yeah,
I tried talking about hockey coming back, and everyone just ignored me. Like, guys, I get it. Hockey is like the third, fourth rung, and the 4 major sports, but we're about to have a sport back. No. Project 2020. Project 2020.
Hey,
Project 2020.
don't, because Val's going to get mad. NASCAR is back.
I said 4 major sports, not 5.
So we've talked about it, and we kind of didn't feel like the love of Project 2020 right off the bat.
Sure.
Since getting cards in hand, I like them. They're interesting. They're different. We've talked to the artist. We talked to Blake. We had him on the show.
Any of the others are more than welcome to come on.
Yeah, and we're kind of seeing what they look like and what they are and what they really truly are. And so RJ Habib on Twitter said when we stop analyzing Project 2020 through the lens of sports cards and just start realizing it's a limited art print, the correlation between print run and price is shown to be weak. The subject has shown to matter, but it's the artists that are driving the price. Like Blake said, I can have one of my fans that can't afford an $1,800 piece from me buy one and spend $20 and have a piece of my art in their home.
Yeah.
Sure.
They can spend $400 and have 20 pieces of art of mine in their home. Paul Lesko said, I can honestly say Project 2020 is the first hobby experience I've ever had that's actually causing me a little stress. I don't want to sell any my cards, any of them, but this is making it almost impossible for me not to. Watch the breaks. Okay, so we're just going to stop there for a sec. So when you see a Dwight Gooden by Tyson Beck, card number 12, had a very low print run, 1,065. It sold for $3,500. It makes you stop and wonder, like, hey, I paid $20 for this card, and I can get life-changing money. One of the artists even said, I've seen people make life-changing money off my art, off buying these cards, and I'm all for them, and I'm so excited for them.
Sure. So let me ask you guys this, because it's semi-related. How much do you think the auctions matter depending on whether you include just the card or the card and the holder? Because we had a question asked to us, hey, I sent in a bunch of Project 2020 cards, and if someone buys them, will you ship with the holder? Because that seems to be important. They thought.
I think it is, because it means you bought directly from Topps. Because I know the one that I bought, the first bread I bought, the George Seth one, I bought through a third party on eBay, and they shipped without the box.
Because I think the comparable would be in like the collectibles and toy market, where it's new in box, or even like the video game cartridge market, where the cartridge is nice, but if you have the actual box, the manual, the little plastic thing that you put the cartridge in, you get more. And I think our official policy is that we try to accommodate that. So, hey, there's that. But I was kind of curious of your true opinion on whether, if there's a sale made, you need that plastic box, or whether it makes just only a slight difference.
Yeah, I don't think it would hurt. I mean, I've bought all mine on the secondary market, and all of them so far have come with the black box. if you're spending $2,500 on a card, theoretically you could have had for $20 if you would have bought it at that time, had you known or wanted to. Yeah, it's nice to have the box, all things being equal, right?
Sure.
I think it's insane that they're going for this amount. But I've tried to wrap my head around what it is. I mean, we've even seen cards in the print runs of 8,000-9,000 selling for ridiculous amounts. I mean, I looked up the two Bretts, the Mr. Cartoon Brett and the Sif Brett I have, and like the Sif Brett's going for like $1,400. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't, and that's more. And I have a graded Bretts up here and an autographed bat. I could sell that card and buy these over all 20 Topps cards and the bat again, and still have some money left over probably. It's crazy to me. Like, and I can't understand. And I don't know if it's the fans of the artists getting into this on the secondary market that didn't know that this project was going on. You could buy them directly from Topps, or if I don't know, because art fans are known for spending whatever to support their artist. Steph's mixing drinks here on the show live.
Somebody needs to.
I mean, it is episode 100 here.
Mute your mic when you're.
Everyone gets to enjoy with me.
But what I'm saying is that people will support certain artists,
sure,
because then they have their own, like they have paintings and original works from these guys. That, hey, if you have a baseball card that's worth $2,500, but I have a painting that I paid $800 for from this guy a couple years ago, of the same dude, this should be worth $10,000 now.
You would think,
and I don't know if they're correlating it that way.
Well, and
I tell my wife about these prices every day, and she's just like, sell them. And I'm like, no. And she's like, okay, well, then don't sell them. Look at them. I'm like, yeah. And like I've been now ordering the Brett with its pal, whoever's released that day with the Brett. And one of them is a Koufax, and that card's already like $250. And one other's a Jeter, and that card's like $125. And those cards aren't even shipped yet.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
the Jameson I saw was at least $150 already.
The McGuire sold 8,800, and it's selling for almost $200.
Right before the show, right after I got home from work, my dad and I were talking about this. We talk about this topic every day, and we hopped on Cardboard Connection, and I read through the print runs just really quick, right?
Yeah.
And to see where they went from card 1, and I'd stop at like every 10. Okay, now we're going to card 11. Now we're 21. And it's just amazing to see what the last 10 to 15 of these have done, because they literally went from, other than a couple of the Jeters and Trouts that sold like 13 and 29, now they've just jumped into 35, 45, 99,000.
99, yeah.
The Keith Shore, the ones we've been making fun of this whole time, his Griffey's 99,000.
And that's the thing that I was wondering was, sure, some of these, initially we were kind of playing it ear by ear, release by release. Hey, we don't like that one, don't buy it. Hey, this one looks cool. Hey, I'm just buying all of them anyway. But now that they're released, it's when do you sell almost? Because if I can buy something today for 20 and either Topps just isn't advertising it as well as they should, the artists are pulling in from their other markets. I mean, if I bought something last week 2 times, one for Rich and one for us, and I can sell it today for 120, 150, 160, 200, and it only sold 20,000, and it's one of the nicer pieces of the set so far. At what point do I sell?
Yeah. Yeah, the Griffey today hit
fuck
90 was 99,177 cards.
Cheating asses.
What?
So
nothing.
So one of these early cards, this Dwight Gooden has 1,000 cards on their print run. Some of those had to have gone into private collections, right? They were bought because you're a fan of Gooden,
maybe they're coming out now.
Right.
So you would have to say 500 of them were bought with the specific intent to be resold. 500 were bought to keep. So therefore, no matter what, only 1,000 of these exist. at any given point in history, right? That's it. They only made 1,000 of these. And so if there's 1,200 people at some point that want these, you will always have a resale market to at least get your $20 back, right? Probably exponentially more, as we've seen. But 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you will always have somebody that says, man, I've always wanted to get my hands on that Doc Gooden. They only made 1,000. And if you start looking over the first 20, 30, 40 of these, much like Topps Living, where they had lower print runs, some of these other on-demands, where they were extremely limited print runs, you always are going to have a market. But look at the last couple of these suckers that have sold for 65
just to give you an idea,
plus.
Real quick, the first 20 averaged almost 1,600 sold. If we look at the last 20 sold, while
you're doing your math real quick, just so we don't have a dead silence, I'll just finish up my thought really quick. Was, at 99,000, you can't tell me that there's going to be that many people that did not get in on this particular card.
Yeah.
No, I think
we're about 16,800.
This is the almost quote unquote jumping the shark, the Star Trek Beard episode, the where everything goes supreme. Now, maybe it jumps off even further down the line, but prior to this, we've only seen 16, 20, even less print sold. This 99,000 is just outrageous,
guys.
Yeah, they're still
we're card 90, and was it 89 and 90 tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's 400 cards in the set. We're not even a fourth of the way through.
Right.
How crazy are these prices going to be? So say now we have, the Trout was number one. One of the Trouts was number one, like almost the Ben Baller was like 34,000, and the Griffey hit 99. Okay, what's the Griffey Ben Baller going to be at when it releases?
Yeah.
You have to look at it. It's like, so maybe 1,065 Dwight Goodens right now is going to be that card instead of being 3,500. That could be $10,000 card when you look at all the other print runs. If they the average starts to be even say 50,000, which still is, you have to think that's not that many. We talk about this hobby and when we have cards, numbered to so whatever, this is bigger than the hobby right now. We, as collectors of baseball card, sports cards collectors, we've never seen anything like this before, nor during a pandemic, which none of us have lived through before, with no new product hitting the shelves, with nothing at retail. What are you doing with your $20 blaster money? Well, son of a gun, if I can turn my $20 blaster money into a $2,000 bill, sign me up.
And I love what Kevin just said. People need to take their card goggles off with this set. It's a little transcendent. It is, because you just as you just alluded to, there's the pandemic going on, sure. There's people at home either unemployed or with plenty of extra money to spend because they're only at home working from home, saving money because they're not going out every day. They're not getting their Starbucks. They're not spending gas. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. And then there's the overseas markets. Sure, I'm sure some people from China and Asia and even the Europe countries, Russia, are purchasing a few of these, especially given the initial returns. Why wouldn't you see some of that? And let alone drawing in, the artists' traditional markets. So whether they're shoe artists, whether they're graffiti artists, they're drawing in some of those guys. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Can you pull that picture we have in the notes?
Which one?
It says $1 million picture.
Yep.
So this guy, it was a stolen from Facebook, so I don't know exactly who it's from, but he said on May 23rd, I started keeping track of average prices on eBay as they pertain to my 2020 Project 2020 collection. That day, the value of my cards was $350,000 plus. I couldn't believe it. 24 hours later, on May 24th, they were valued at $500,000 plus. One day later, $800,000 plus. Then today, $1.1 million. I've never seen anything like this before. Who else is seeing unprecedented exponential growth? Now, this guy, if you can see the picture, has stacks on stacks on stacks of Project 2020 cards.
Mm-hmm.
But, I see Blake's, Don Mattingly in there. I see Keith Shore's McGuire. There's a ton of these early print runs, and he's got these cards just stacked high. Dude.
Well, and semi-related, I know I sent this here to the group, but someone asked with the Jack of All Trades movie that came out last year, where at the end they burnt a bunch of junk wax because it was deemed junk. How they're feeling nowadays, because some of that stuff is in sudden demand. Either the Jordans from 91 or some of the basketball stuff. And yeah, sure, hey, it's being hyped up. And the McGuires and Griffies, and sure, hey, some of them are shooting back up in price. Second film apparently is being worked on. So keep an eye out for that.
My thing is, I think personally, I think a lot of collectors crapped on the 90s collections, the late 80s, the junk wax era, and they crapped on it. And we're seeing people go back and realize, man, who cares? I liked Griffey as a kid. I'm going to go back and buy all those Griffey cards I used to have, which then takes cards out of the market. Hey, Tim, I don't know when you sell this stuff, but, Ben, you said sell now before the market shifts. But what I'm saying, what happens if this continues? Like if we see even with Topps Living, we saw a decline, right?
Mm-hmm.
But still, those first, 15, 20 cards command quite a bit of demand. And
so, you have to be comfortable knowing you might leave a little bit of money on the table, maybe a lot of money. But at the same time, right now, the way I look at this, the analogy of like we're all playing poker with these poker chips. We all bought in with these $20 bills, maybe multiple $20 bills, or in people like Jake's case, thousands upon thousands of dollars initially. And you're just trading around all of this money, and it's going from PayPal account to PayPal account, and it doesn't feel real to some people, right? Because they haven't actually felt it yet. But what's going to happen is at some point, the casino is going to say, "Hey, lights are going out. Everybody needs to take their chips to the cashier and cash out." But they've got a finite amount of money to cash these chips out, and a lot of people are going to be stuck with some of this stuff. Not all, but some. 99,000 Griffies, I can't see, and maybe I'm wrong, but I just can't see this stuff not having a declining value compared to some of the early stuff that have only 1,000 or 1,500 made, right? This stuff with, right now, everybody's on board. I'm sure it's crossed all of our minds. Myself, the two of you guys, everybody who's listening. We've all thought, well, shoot, maybe I should start buying these too. How much money can I get away with every month out of my monthly budget? Because what happens if I buy these cards at $20 each or $18 each, and I can get hundreds, right?
Sure.
If I can triple my money, just $60, $80 per card, let alone 500, 700, 800. Well, at some point, the bottom's going to fall out. Because if everybody has the same thought, the sellers are going to outnumber the buyers so far that you're going to be lucky to cash out. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is the anomaly. Maybe this is the set that's just different. Because there's so much outside external money coming into the hobby right now for this set specifically.
Well, and I talked about this with my dad because, Ben, you're not the only one with an economics degree. But he'd said that, while the market is hot, don't be the last one to hold the grenade.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it will explode. And I'm not saying that this set is
if the grenade
decline. We're not even 100 cards in yet. They're planning to do what, 400?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're not even there yet. Yeah, sure, the initial ones are going to hold more value, but and as Kevin said, they're not going to sell for less than $20.
If the grenade explodes at $35 and you paid $20 for it, you're still making $15.
Take your 15 profit. Fuck.
We'd be happy normally. If you made $15 on a card you bought for $20, you'd be shitting. You'd be doing that all day. So real quick, so once a Cub said he said the decline in living where? Well, the first 100 cards, 1 through 100, average 7,300 per print run. Okay, so if we go to the next 100, the last 100 cards that we've had, so where are we at right now? 315 or 315, 314.
Yeah. Now, mind you got the Acuna that sold what?
Doesn't matter. It's still, but it's still included in the hype of all of this product.
Sure.
So even if we say we start at like card 201, we'll even give it in a few extra cards. Right after Mike Trout debuted at card 200, we go from that and we give it extra cards. The average print run is 2,700. We're down 5,000 cards a print run. Even if we go back and we say, hey, let's do every card from 101 to where we are, 314 right now. I want to pull this up because I have these numbers here. We'll see. I guarantee you it's not even close to the 7,500. And we'll include all those extra cards in there and see what it is. Because it had a big boom, and then all of a sudden the bottom fell out. So we go to card 101, 3,400. So we're still talking 3,000 card difference. If you take card 101 to card 314 from just the first 100. And there's been just as big of rookies as Acuna in the product that have come out since then. Vlad Guerrero Jr., Pete Alonso, Fernando Tatis.
Well, a lot of people dropped out after card 100. I think that's when Twins Jake dropped out. I know that's when Brent Williams dropped out. A lot of people stopped buying because they were getting stuck with a lot of unmovable inventory, and that doesn't mean it won't be movable. It's just it wasn't at that time.
Mike Trout was also included at 20. So you had Vlad at 27, Mike Trout at 22,000, Tatis Jr. at almost 1,100 or 11,000. I mean, all those cards were included in there, and they still aren't getting close to what it was the first 100. I'm just saying that we've seen living fall off, and it's averaging out about 2,000 cards, which is totally fine. I'm good with that because you know what that means? All the living cards I have are worth something. They're a little more collectible. They're not going to leave, my collection anytime soon. But the fact is, if I had to sell them, I know I could turn around and move some of them and make a few extra bucks than when I paid the $5 I paid for them.
So you want to talk about timely tweets? This was sent just minutes ago. You wanted the huge print run. That's the point. Now that it is near to 100K, two things will happen. All previous print runs are now short print, and the old SB are now super short print. New speculators will stop. Cards are going to 10 in 3 days. I'm out. Nervous people will panic sell. Nothing wrong with taking your profit and moving on. All prices should dip and then readjust. Near should 20K plus print run be selling for 200 before they even delivered. The print run under 10K are like precious metals. Just my humble opinion. What do I know? 42 minutes ago.
Just remember that this hobby, we've seen it for as long as we've all been collecting, has the attention span of a goldfish, right? It's got the attention span of a toddler with ADHD. And no offense to anybody out there that has that, right? Toddlers just, they don't pay attention for very long, right? They're always on to something new.
So you're a toddler?
Well,
but you're talking about the hobby. This is a different beast.
Right. But one thing to keep in mind, though, is even with all the external factors, or the external money, I should say, the world is opening up again soon. And just with the hobbyists, because that's what we find ourselves in, right? That's where we talk all the time. That's where we collect. Bowman's out. Other products are coming out. Stadium Club's coming out. Series 2's coming out. There's going to be, all of these sports are going to have all of these new products, and it's going to be a condensed, things are going to be coming at us so quick. People are going to go back to work, Starbucks, gas stations, all of this extra money now. People are going to move on. We're really going to start to see how much of this money is coming into Project 2020 from non-hobbyists, people that are supporting the artists. Because right now there's a lot of people speculating and driving up these print runs over the last 10 to 15 cards. Last 2 or 3 weeks, we're seeing people trying to make quick, easy money. And just my humble opinion, I don't think it's sustainable. I could be wrong. This product is this whole program has caught us all off guard, and it's been so interesting. But
we're not even.
Just be careful.
Yeah, don't outspend your means, but guys, Tim Seabrook says the Griffey 99 is the peak. No, because Trout will outdo anybody.
Mm-hmm.
He had the record. He will outdo anybody in this set when his next card drops, which will be By the way, card 100 will be a Mike Trout card.
More than likely. Yeah.
I'm going to put the big ship guarantee on it, and it might be someone we really like on this show.
You think so?
I think that's why
145.00.
Right. Guarantee it right there. The big ship guarantee that card 100 will be Mike Trout and it'll be somebody pretty awesome, and that will blow this out of the water. And guys, again, we're not even a fourth of the way through this, so watch the breaks Ivan put out. When you wonder if your pre-sale buyers are already pre-sale sellers, and if the buyers are also now pre-sale sellers, meaning that if I bought from Jake, right, he's my pre-seller, I bought from him, and then I turn around and then list my card, even though I've not got it yet from Jake, and then Ben wants to buy it, so it has to go from Jake to me to Ben. You need to be cautious on that. And my advice on this, if you are concerned at all about having canceled sales of pre-ordered cards, spend the extra $3, order them from Topps directly. Yeah, it's going to cost you in the long run, but it guarantees your card. Or two, buy from Twins Jake because he's taking care of his customers. He's even said, hey, if I don't respond to your DMs on my Twitter handle, as long as it's within the two-day time frame, I will guarantee you will get that card at the pre-sale price.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my 2 cents in on it. I'm buying directly from Topps now just to guarantee my card, and I can see the tracking and where it's going to be. And if I have a problem, I'm going to go back to the people that made the card.
And take a lottery on the 1 of 1, of course.
Yeah, and that's fine. And I don't care. Like, if I got a Brett 1 of 1, I'm telling you guys right now, I'm selling it.
Sure.
I'll buy back the other Brett, whatever price it is, and then I'm going to take the other money. I'm going to turn it into $1 bills. I'm going to fill this room with it. I'm going to swim naked in it like Scrooge McDuck, and I'll do it.
Now
live
I
on
need
air.
to go through some drive-through strip clubs.
Yes.
With a dollar shooter.
Just don't do it on a night that on a Wednesday night between 8 p.m. Pacific and say 9:30ish.
No, it'll be after dark. It'll be after
Please.
9:30.
With your cuddle
Well,
buddy,
that's
or-
cool as long as we're not live. I still
Oh
wanna
no, we'll
watch,
be
but-
live. We will be live.
Ah,
Yeah.
we'll do it.
You have to film it.
We'll do it separately by invitation only.
OnlyFans?
And there were people that weren't in on this that I know that hopped in at card 47 or so that I've
Sure.
talked to that have done very well for themselves since then. And these are people that way poo-pooed, that didn't agree. And they were like, well, I'm not going to be in this or whatever. And now I've seen where it is. I mean, it's just crazy. So sell if you want. If you have, I would say one of those cards that's under 2,000 print run, to me right now, personally, I would hold that card until we hit like to the halfway mark, till we hit 200 and see where it's at. Because guys, the worst thing it's going to be is, you're going to maybe leave a few $100s on the table, but it's better to leave a few $100s on the table than a few $1,000s on the table.
Yep.
So,
And at least you make back your $20.
Yeah.
That's the gamble you play. Like I said, don't hold the grenade last.
Guys, we're over an hour and 45, which is, typical for us, but episode 100 is epic. We had a lot of fun to talk about tonight. A lot of people still with us. Thank you so much.
I do have a quick mail day to shoot.
Yeah, let's do it. And then we're going to get into some 100 episode thank yous kind of thing before we head out this evening.
So I consulted one of the three of us as far as I'd been following this for my personal collection since it was initially listed in 2014. It's 2014, yes. The person wanted 1,000 because it's a superfractor, and since then he's lowered it to 750, 500, 250, and just last week or so, he sent me a private offer on eBay saying 150, 125. I countered and said 100. He accepted almost immediately.
Boom.
For my private collection, I have a superfractor.
That's awesome.
That beautiful card. That's
my
awesome.
first twin superfractor, my first Eid superfractor. Wrong one.
That's sweet.
Nice and shiny 1 of 1 right there.
And by the way, those perfect fit sleeves got dropped off in the mail for you today, my friend.
Very nice. I love those.
Yeah, so they'll be on your way, so you can protect that one touch it's in, and it'll look sharp.
No, that's awesome. And I'm glad he was willing to give you a deal. it went to the right home, whether he knows that or not. We know that
it's never going to leave.
Yeah, it's such a pretty card.
Him.
Well, and that's the thing. So if you see on the back here, good old catch. Father Ned caught in red system where he's blocked by Johnny Bench. Well, Ned Eads was my high school baseball coach.
No, that's awesome. It's. I remember when I got the McGuire Superfractor 2 years or last year from Brent. When I first opened it, it was just, oh my god, yeah. Not just to have a Superfractor, but to have it be your guy is so cool.
That superior fit. There we go, Mike. Sorry, superior fit.
Yeah, that's awesome stuff. I'm really glad that he, and I know you and I had talked about it a little bit, kind of the financial side of things, and
sure,
not wanting to lose a PC item of that magnitude over $15. A trip for you and Angela, and a half a trip for one of you guys over to the Starbucks.
Well, and it wasn't a matter of so I think they initially said 115, 125, something to that effect. And here's what he's talking about for the team bags here. Look how nice that holds against the edge. There's nearly nothing on the side, unlike what my Ruth is currently in, and it just folds over in a pentagram almost.
Yeah.
Against the back.
And by the way, real quick, 150 of those, it was like $265.
Yeah,
I ordered a ton of stuff
if you're
one
not
time, and I
using
paid
these, I would
$5.
definitely 100% recommend them because one second
they're all sold out right now. I looked at you.
He's got to go get something random, which of course is right by his desk.
Yeah, of course, because he has everything in hand. No, I mean that I don't have a Superfractor yet, but to have one of my PCs would be awesome. And I honestly wouldn't care who it was. Now if it could be Bubba Starling, would even be better.
Which one looks nicer?
Well, Barry Bonds, because he's the best baseball player that's played in the last 30 years.
Have you heard of that kid over in Southern California?
Who?
I don't know.
Has anybody else hit 500 home runs and stolen 500 bases?
Legitimately, or
yeah. I looked on Baseball Reference and it said that.
It doesn't say that he was using the Game Genie version of performance enhancers. Okay.
I don't know. I saw Mark McGuire had 536 home runs.
A nice addition.
You watch your mouth.
You didn't see anything about
this
him.
Episode.
As we get into the 100th episode as we head out here tonight, some great guest hosts we've had over this. From the Midwest Bureau, Mike Summer, who spun off and has his own podcast. So really, the Wax Pack Hero Sports Card Minute is a spinoff of our show, kind of like Frasier from Cheers. Like we'd be Cheers, and he's Frasier, right? Because he kind of looks like Frasier.
So we're kind of like his daddy. I like it.
I'm
gonna tell Mike I'm his daddy tomorrow.
That took a kind of dark connotation.
1 million Cubs. Joey Shiver, and if you don't understand who Joey Shiver is, Dub Mentality. Ken Kinsley, Drew Herndon, and John Newman. As recently as last week, some great interviews we've had.
Soon.
What's up?
I said Drew is on soon.
Yeah, Drew's coming back, I believe, next week. I'm trying to lock that up. Some great interviews we've had. We've had Sir Ryan Cracknell from the Great White North on a few times.
The Canuck.
Blake Jameson on recently. The Cardboard Icons, Ben Aguirre.
Literally the most recent comment in YouTube right now.
Yes, but no, he just the guy that really motivated my collecting in the last 5 years. Nobody bigger than Ben Aguirre. I'm just telling you right now. His posts and his stories and his blog, really got me more into the hobby and finding my way in my collecting. And
he's a fellow A's fan, so I gotta love him. We share the same first name, and he's an A's fan just like me.
So he's got 2 strikes. Tanner Jones, who wrote a book and super collected Jose Canseco and hung out with Canseco. Casey Kreider, an NFL Pro Bowler, who's now in the New York Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Trillo, who's in the Royals organization, hung out with us. By the way, hit some awesome Mosaic Zion from the same Walmart that our buddy Jackson Cheshire Prism Hoops shops at, and he missed out on that box. Who's been on the show? Nick Wasika, our show photographer.
Who, if you haven't seen his, I think they're officially up on the Upper Deck channel. I think they're up to episode 2 now.
Yep.
Of his show. Definitely check it out. It's worth it.
Yeah. Sal Berry, which is
Puck Junk. Yep.
He's awesome. We had Suze on. I'm just gonna say just Suze because you should know who
you
Suze
know
is.
who we're talking about.
Yes, Chris Torres, outstanding guy, really great. And if you're not watching his Furloughed series, dropping knowledge every day, putting out information every day, and that is tough to do. It really is, and so that's outstanding. Nick Duante, who I know put me in a Forbes article.
And he wants to come on again soon.
Yeah, love Nick. Lots of Jimmy Mahan, the Zion guy, but then had the Kentucky cards. Just what a dude! What an awesome guy. We had James Kukowski on, Philly Puck fan, little hockey talk, little lawyer action for us in case any of us getting in trouble. James Good, what's up?
The other former Zion 101 owner. Former co-worker of mine, now works for Nintendo.
Yeah, James Good, the former.
Talk about a dream job, working for Nintendo.
After working for ComC, come on, to Nintendo, like, dude's just living on another planet. That is awesome.
Amazing.
And, dude, great follow. Watch his videos; they're fun. And just to spotlight some people that have supported out the show for a long time, guys. We're gonna miss somebody. All of you are very special to us. Don't get me wrong.
Any listener,
yes. But these are some folks that have helped us through the way. Matt Major, once a Cub, Tops Living Stat, has been amazing for us and a huge supporter. If
we're not misappropriating one of their images, one of their tweets each week, we're doing it wrong.
Yeah. Scott Hermanson, who's a local collector, has been a big fan of the show. Our buddy Brian Bice has been a big fan. Jenny Miller, early on fan. Brian Flynn, who's a writer who wrote us up in an article, which is behind me.
I'll get your 2 most recent reviews up this week.
And he puts reviews on our site. Kevin Jones, he's in the chat tonight. John Pete, coming on recently.
Newer listener, but love him.
And does some... Right there. Herman Bryant, 3B collection. By the way, if you saw his first break ever tonight, he had a Vlad dime card out of Heritage, numbered out of 10, 9 out of 10. Amazing. And he said he was so nervous he couldn't even put it in the top loader. And
get it in the hole.
Yeah. And Dan Marcari, Dan the man, right, wrote us, like I said, that phenomenal email. And it was very touching. So it was awesome. And I mean, there's so many more of you guys. These were ones I could just think of right before the show. Who? Uncle Rich Klein. Let's be honest. There it is.
Dr. Beckett, we're looking to close in on a weekend spot case.
Yeah, and I have a meeting on my calendar tomorrow with a Jim Beckett. I don't know if it's the same guy. So
recording an episode or 2?
Maybe. Something about the best for last. I'm not sure what that meant.
Best for first.
So, if you hadn't heard my story how I met him, check out the Hobby Hotline this weekend and see his reaction as Uncle Rich tells it. And I embarrassingly fall out of camera view for a second. No, it's been fun. I mean,
TLDR, there you go. Cardboard icons. I used it in the show. Too long didn't read. Essentially, me and Shep had met up at the National because he'd wanted to put some stuff in our car to transport back to our Airbnb. And I go, Shep, there's somebody who you need to go talk to. He's at the end. He's in the final chair. Go talk to him. Didn't tell him who it was. Didn't tell him anything. Just nothing. And the first thing the guy says, Dr. Beckett says, "Hey, Shep, how's it going?" And from that point on, Shep needed a cold shower.
Blacked out, shit my pants, just urine all the front. No, yeah, and when he knew my name, like I was like, this guy like I think anybody from the age of like 30 to older that was collecting in the 80s and 90s revered that magazine as the Bible for so long.
I mean, I'm only 32, but even I knew that the 4 episodes that I've done so far are amazing.
Yeah.
Just the outreach that we have because of this show, because of our connections, because of our listeners is amazing.
You know, he and I did 2 episodes a while back, and I took myself to the bedroom just so I had a little bit more privacy and some quiet away from the kids, and I get on a Zoom meeting with him, and he's like, "Hey Ben," and I'm like, you know, well, why do you know who I am?
Angela outed you there.
You know, it's like it was crazy. Yeah, no, and for people like him, and then I was listening to the episode. I was trying to catch up on listen to the episode that Angela and Stefan had taped with him back earlier this month, and at the very end, he's like, "Oh, About the Cards is just a riveting show," and I'm just like, "Man, this is." We throw that word icon or legend or expert around, kind of very liberally. You know, we use it a lot, and there are people like Ben Aguirre, who is a legend, and obviously Uncle Rich and Ryan Cracknell. There's this hierarchy of people that have been around forever that hold a little more esteem than some of the rest of us, and obviously Jim Beckett's on the top of that list.
Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you're making the Mount Rushmore of people that have been in the hobby, say you know, post-war, you know, 70s junk wax era on, I mean, Jim Beckett's name is synonymous with the hobby. People that don't collect know what the Beckett is.
Well, we talked about when the Saber was given away the awards, he was one of the finalists.
Yeah,
right. That was a list of like who's who on that list. So
yeah, and it's like you know us by first name. You listen to our show. I mean.
At double speed, mind you, but hey,
yeah, he does. He listens to everything at double speed. But he's such a neat guy, and again, we're working on something fun that we hope we can announce soon with Uncle Rich and Dr. Jim, and if we can pull this off, it's going to be. You want to talk about epic? You know, and I still think our buddy Philly Puck fan said it best because I was arguing with I was going to argue with Dr. Jim about 85 versus 87 McGuire, and our buddy James says, arguing with Dr. Beckett is like, about baseball cards is like arguing theology with God. And it's just like, okay, then you're right. But he's such a neat guy, and he's been nothing but gracious to our show. It's amazing. And we need to get as much information out of him while he's still around this hobby, because he's just a plethora of, literally we just need to put a camera on in front of he and Uncle Rich and just say, you boys play nice for, a week, 10 days, 2 weeks. We'll be back.
Well, and that's one of the things that I love being in this area, because you have some of these hobby icons that just by happenstance are in this area and that we can bring to the show. Between Rich, between Dr. Jim, between Panini and Tracy Hackler and everyone else, and sure, even Leaf. These are all things that we can bring to the show that we have and we've hit on, and we'd love to keep bringing for the next 100 episodes.
Yeah. No, guys, we talked about this when we first.
It requires a Whataburger episode.
We first talked about putting this together. By the way, we're getting a Whataburger in a mall not too far from my house.
Get a double.
Mall ever opens. But no, 100 shows, so many guests, so many questions, so many, video views, and all that. Like, awesome. We don't do this for that. We started this to do it for us.
Sure.
And if no one listened, then hey, at least we got to hang out. I got to know Steph a little bit better. We got to banter about the hobby for 5 or 6 episodes, and then hey, then we're going to be done. And then we just kept going and going. And guys, it's not a chore weekly to do the show because we all love doing it. We've all missed here and there for whatever reasons. But
I might miss an episode coming up, by the way.
And we'll find somebody better to be in the spot. But it's the consistency of always being on.
Sure.
that is, to me, that's impressive. I mean, you look, there's 1,000 shows that have been 5-10 episodes long and then they were gone. You know, to run this long, this consistently, week after week for 2 years almost now, is pretty awesome. And that really goes to the listeners that energize us, the viewers that energize us, the comments and everything we get. And we really appreciate that.
I mean, and even just the
us.
generic stuff that pops up. I mean, between the Plow the Beaver and the Mustang tour and the, Hey Angela or the coughing episode. Speaking for myself.
Most of this is all you, Steph. Let's just...
I mean, I drive the show.
Something we did.
Ben's arguments on Twitter or Ship's, engaging and bringing content and putting together all of the background stuff, or me keeping track of at X point we talked about from this to this, and then from that point we moved on to this or that, or Ship the Bren bringing in, hey, can you talk to us? We're in. Come talk to us. I mean, we all kind of do our own thing, and sometimes it's from an antagonistic point of view. But I would like to think that we've had a great 100 episodes, and we look forward to the next 100.
Yeah, I think we can all agree that I'm probably the most combative on Twitter and social media.
No.
But I hope that anybody that I've come across in the past 2 years or longer, it comes from a place of let's get some healthy debate. Let's go. Let's play devil's advocate. There's points and lines in the sand I'll draw just for the fun of it, just to get that debate going and that talk. And sometimes we go on all these different ways, and it's just amazing how much the hobby has grown over the last few years, and we've been a part of it with the show. And seriously, you need a third one?
Fourth, but who's counting?
But yeah, it's been amazing getting to know you guys better in the hobby, and all of our friends that are hobby brothers and sisters along the way. And can't thank everybody enough for all of the support. And, going into season 3, as it's been renewed, if there's anybody out there that wants to be a part, want to come on and tell your story, whether it's for 15, 20 minutes at the top of the show or hang out with us for the whole time, and, reach out to us, let us know. We'll do our best to get you on the schedule, because as much as it's our show as hosts, it really is for everybody.
Yeah.
Well, and even if we have to do a Saturday Sunday show,
yeah, we can do that too.
We're willing to work with you. Just let us know.
Yeah.
I mean, if we have to do it, like I said, we're planning to do an episode with let me see his full name here. Dr. Jim Rich, as well as, let me find the right group here. Biggs Daddy Cool. And the three of us. Because we figure, everyone collects a certain generation, and everyone collects a certain era. We can all share information. That's just a thing that we have in the hopper. And, one of the things that we look forward to providing for the next 100 episodes.
Yeah. And if you have any ideas, let us know. If you want to be a part of it, even better. But, there was something that we caught on a YouTube channel that I personally wasn't a big fan of, and he one of the guys, the host of that show, makes a comment about O-Pee-Chee being a carbon copy of Topps, and he just moved on. And I'm like, well, that's a very juvenile explanation of what O-Pee-Chee is. If somebody's really, and I go to Steph and I'm like, listen, Steph,
93 plus 2009.
I'm like, listen, Steph, let's put some stuff together. And next thing you know, it's part of our show, telling some of the history of some of these defunct companies, all of the different fun stuff that we've done over the 100 episodes.
That's the thing that honestly we should get back to with the company breakdowns. I know that we hit a few of the major groups, but we should definitely hit the rest.
Yeah, and we're always open to new content and fun stuff, and
definitely.
We would love to see more guests for the next 100 episodes, because
shoot us a line. All we need is an email to send you an invite.
Yeah, it really is simple.
DM.
Yeah, just anything. And if you have any questions, remember, I mean, all of us have our specialties in the hobby, and all of us are a little bit smarter in certain areas than others. But there really are no experts, because it really is such a vast hobby. that we do because we are passionate and we share this hobby and this love for it. And we're always learning new stuff. And, you know, I've said this a couple of times. I've turned softy a couple of times on Twitter over the last couple of weeks. It's like, do something nice for the hobby too. You know, reach out, say hi to somebody you haven't heard from in a while. What's going on? You know, everything okay? You know, send some cards. Send some. I'd have no problem unblocking her if she would lay off on the.
I think she would try.
You know, but it's one of those things. You know, we all have our areas of expertise, and we all come together and bring different things and different opinions, and so much so there's no right or wrong. You know,
sure.
There's a lot of right. I mean, you know, number one on the checklist is number one on the checklist. That's not debatable. But whether it's the best card in the set, of course, is 100% subjective. You know, and I can't wait to see where we go with this and the Hobby Hotline and everything else and all of the other great podcasts that are our sister podcasts. You know, and it's just right now is a great time to be in the hobby. And,
yeah, I mean, I know he teased it with his own show, but if Once a Cub wants to spin off his own show, we're more than welcome to coming on if you want to let us know.
He needs to come on. Sure. He needs to come on our show at least once and say hi.
Definitely.
You know, he can be the fourth chucklehead in the
I
box.
mean, I know he's done kind of the Zoom appearance on the weekends privately. But, yeah, he should definitely come on. Yeah. For all that he's provided for the 100 episodes, come on, Matt.
And you know,
a good part of the intro of every show is dedicated to what he's doing for us. So.
Right?
Yeah, one of the, you know, he made a comment earlier about how we kind of grew up together because he created that Topps Living Stat account right around the same time we started the podcast. And, you know, something that I did a few weeks ago that I'm looking forward to doing again, and I think I mentioned that last week, is, you know, that big Zoom meeting with whoever's available for an hour. You know, we can do it on a Saturday after the Hobby Hotline again. Let's just talk. Hey, you want to hop on and talk?
Sure.
You just want to leave it on as background noise and have your computer open? Hey, whatever, man. That'd be fun.
Background noise here. I know that Dr. Beckett has done a yearly an annual meeting of just different people in the hobby because unfortunately we lost someone who decided to take their own life, and he wants to just have people come up, show up, have a talk, and make sure that, you know, everyone is having their best life. And he has these spotlights where he has different people come in and just talk, have a nice chat, have a conversation, and we'd love to do that. Where not necessarily that we're checking in on mental health, and especially with everything going on right now, it's an issue. But, you know, if you want to have a show go for 100 episodes, you're going to have the same topics over and over again, but we'd love to have different stuff. Yeah.
No, and we have a couple guests. We might have somebody that was on Survivor coming up. We have somebody else that's reached out to me that has a very interesting PC and a very personal reason to come on. So in June, we're going to have some, hopefully some new folks on. I'd like to have Matt come and hang out for a full episode, but that's up to him.
And even people that we've had on before. You I mean, yeah, sure. They're not going to be every single episode that we're going to have Dub on or Cardboard Icons on or, you know, Mike Summer on. But they help fill the show slot line.
Yep. So we all appreciate it. Make sure that you hang out with us. Remember, we're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific.
10 Central.
Make sure to watch the Hobby Hotline this Saturday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern.
And Monday, 6/1.
Yep. And call with any questions, comments. We appreciate the support there. Subscribe and review our show on all platforms. You can always follow us on Twitter about the cards. Follow Ben at Our Trading Cards. Follow stuff at Junk Wax Twins. You can always follow me at Big Ship 79 and make sure that you're sharing your hobby stories with us. Great polls, questions. Keep collecting, guys and gals. We'll see you all next week for episode number 101.
101. Like the